Time to speak to the government now, joined by the Early Years Education Minister, Stephen Morgan. Good to have you with us. So you join us as we hear this news from Afghanistan. At least 622 people dead, 1,500 injured as a result of that magnitude 6 quake. What, if any, support, considering the challenges with the authorities in Afghanistan, will the UK government be able to provide?
Well, my thoughts are with all those affected. This is obviously tragic news. This morning, we're obviously set out any support that the government will be able to make later today.
Do you have any dialogue or channels of communication with the Taliban authorities?
I'm not aware. Obviously, colleagues in other departments will set out what they may be able to do.
You return to Westminster today. Recess done and dusted. You feeling rested, recovered, ready for a new kind of session?
Absolutely, and from today, thousands, hundreds of thousands of more parents will be able to access our childcare entitlement offer. This is a really significant milestone that will benefit children across our country. So really excited to be delivering this today.
Yeah, so 30 hours a week of childcare will be available, up to, what, £9 billion worth of funding next year?
That's absolutely right. So a really significant moment for our country. And I pay tribute to the early years providers that have been working so hard on this. We wanted to deliver this for children across our country, and today's a key milestone in making that happen.
And the Prime Minister's written a pretty substantial opinion piece in the Daily Mirror today and finishes it with the line, "Our drive to deliver national renewal will make every person feel better off and more secure." The challenge for you is, in the eye, 77% of Britons who are polled think that the country's broken to some degree. So what you're saying, what you're trying to do, isn't translating, is it?
Well, the Prime Minister has been really clear. We need to go further and faster in delivering change that people voted for last year. What we're doing today, obviously, is increasing the number of hours that parents are entitled to, which will make a real difference in giving children the best start in life. Look at what else we've been doing. We're introducing more eligibility for children to access free school meals from September next year. We're rolling out breakfast clubs in every primary school. We're investing in mental health in schools, a range of things which are saving parents money, but also ensuring that every child, whatever their background, wherever they live in the country, gets the best start in life.
The sense, though, is that the conversation across society this summer has been migration. I think it's fair to say we've seen debate, discourse, anger, even violence. We've seen people arrested, we've seen police officers hurt, we've seen allegations and charges laid as well. Do you feel some sense that the issue has got away from you over the course of the summer? It feels as though, with all due respect, we've heard a lot more from Nigel Farage than we have from the Home Secretary, who's in charge of all of this. You know, Yvette Cooper, her airtime massively diminished compared to the opposition's.
Well, migration is an issue that the Prime Minister is prioritising and is the heart of our government mission. If you look at what we've done in terms of recent activity, 35,000 people have been deported that have no right to remain in the UK. The number of asylum hotels will come down. We're committed to doing that by the end of this Parliament. The asylum claims have been processed, 28% increase. We've deported 4,200 foreign criminals to other countries. That landmark deal we've had with the French, I think, will start to make a real difference in due course. These are complex issues, but there's been good progress and more to do. Yvette Cooper will be saying more about this later today.
She will, and she'll tout some figures about the National Crime Agency trying to smash the gangs, as the Prime Minister has said. But then the challenge is the figures you've put out, always there's a flip side to them, isn't there? You know, small boat arrivals up until pretty much the end of August, 28,000. This time last year, 18,000. The average number of people per boat at its highest level ever on record. It's an issue that is getting bigger and bigger, if in no other sense, in how people perceive it.
Well, the White Paper sets out our ambitions on these issues. Yvette Cooper will say more later today. I absolutely understand people's frustration across the country. There's more for us to do, and I know that Yvette Cooper will lead on that work brilliantly.
The frustrations, though, aren't helped, are they? And you must have found this a bit of a bind, surely. And Bridget Phillipson was talking about this yesterday with Trevor Phillips. You know, for the public to see government lawyers arguing to keep migrant hotels, the one in the Bell in Epping, in this case, open, when that's not what the public are telling you they want to see. That's a real challenge for you on a PR sense, if nothing else, to say we're determined by the end of this Parliament, 2029, to close these hotels. But in the meantime, let us just argue to keep them open and keep them running.
Well, we're working really closely with local authorities. We're really keen to make sure we understand the challenges that communities are facing. The costs of asylum hotels have come down under us. They were almost £9 million a day. They're now just over £5 million a day. There's more action that is required, and obviously the Home Secretary will set out more details later today.
Did you see, I don't know if you saw Shaman's report at the top of the programme, but this is Shaman Freeman-Powell. She's on the streets interviewing an individual, and they are surrounded all of a sudden by a group of young people hurling abuse. She herself is being questioned as to her heritage. There is, within a second, within an instant, a flashpoint of discontent, of aggression, of what could, it didn't, but what could have easily kind of spilled into some degree of violence or fracas. How have we got to that point in 2025 where, you know, a simple street interview with a journalist and a contributor is now pulling in people who are hurling abuse? You can't be comfortable with that, surely.
No, absolutely. And as my former colleague Joe Cox says, we have more in common than that which divides us. And it's really important that we understand communities' frustrations, but also take action to deliver the change that people voted for last July.
This is all good sentiments, Minister, but it's not translating. You know, on social media the other day, a takeaway that's completely covered with graffiti and telling people to go home, and, you know, people who are shouting at each other in the streets. This is Britain in 2025, and for years governments have talked about the strength of multiculturalism, but now that is under threat. You know, people want to see real action now, not only to deal with migration, but also to deal with the psyche of the nation in parts. You know, what can you say you will do today, tomorrow and next week that will deliver concrete change?
Well, I'm proud to be part of a government that is a mission-driven government that wants to bring about change in our country. On my brief, I've set out some of the things that we're doing to ease the pressures on parents and deliver meaningful change for children and young people across our country. The Prime Minister wants us to go further and faster. That's what we're delivering to make sure we fix the foundations of our economy and restore public services and drive growth in our country. And that's what we're going to be doing as Parliament returns today.
The perpetual thorn in your side, the world's richest man, is once again passing comment on the situation here. Elon Musk saying, and I paraphrase, but effectively, from his perspective, a country's government that puts the interests of migrants over its own people is treasonous and treacherous. What's your response to that? Because he's got a huge voice, and a lot of people, I'm afraid to say, will probably be slightly nodding.
Well, as I said, we're getting on delivering what we've committed to doing. We understand people's frustrations across the country. The Home Secretary will be saying more later today on our ambitions with the White Paper. But, you know, the public asked us to bring about change last year. That's exactly what we're getting on delivering.
You're ignoring Elon. You don't care what he has to say.
I'm more focused on what the British public want and the change that they want to see, and that means accessing public services, accessing GPs and dentists, delivering what we're delivering for children across our country. A really exciting milestone met today, and I thank the sector for getting us to this important milestone.
Many parents will echo that, I'm sure. Stephen Morgan, good to have you with us.
Thank you
so much.